In this video, we're going to talk about solving equations that do have fractions within them. That means that the first thing you're going to have to do is find the least common denominator, abbreviated least LCD, of all fractions in the equation. Then you're going to multiply the LCD times each term in the equation. That means you're going to multiply the LCD times the terms that are fractions and the terms that are not fractions. Then you will reduce and eliminate the fractions. All right, let's see this in action. Problem number 1. I have 2/3 x plus 4/3 is equal to negative 2/3. Now, when I look at all of the denominators, I notice they're the same in this problem, so the LCD is 3. Now, I'm going to multiply every term on the left and every term on the right by 3. I'm going to try to use color to do this. I've got 3 times, whoops, sorry, sometimes I touch things, 3 times 2/3 x plus 3 times 4/3, whoops, that was supposed to be in black, equals 3 times negative 2/3. Every term in the equation got multiplied by that least common denominator. I've got 1, 2, 3 little products to, some people call it cross-canceling, some people call it just reducing, some nickname for it is bow tie, but I have to reduce. 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 3 once. I'm left with 2x, and it's over 1, but I don't put over 1, plus, put the red 3 over 1. Those 3's divide out, and I'm left with 4. Equal sign, put the red 3 over 1, the 3's divide out, and I'm left with negative 2. All right, I now have an equation. Its solution is the same as the solution to the first equation, but there's no fractions. I don't have variables on both sides, so I focus over here. I want the variable by itself. I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. That leaves me with 2x is equal to negative and negative, add them up for negative 6. Divide by the coefficient, which is 2, and x is equal to negative 3. You use the LCD as a tool to eliminate the fractions in the equation. Let's look at the next one. I have 3/10 x minus 2 over 5 is equal to 2. Now, there's a denominator of 10 and a denominator of 5 in this equation. So, excuse me, I just jumped somewhere else. There we go. I'm so sorry about that. Meanwhile, I lost my 3. All right, I've got a denominator of 10 and a denominator of 5. The common denominator, the least common denominator, is what they will both go into, which is 10. So I'm going to multiply 10 times 3/10 x minus 10 times 2/5 equals 10 times 2. Every term gets multiplied by that, or you lose the equality. Put the 10 over 1. Those 10s divide out, and I'm left with 3x. In the next one, when you put the red 10 over 1, 5 goes in there once, 5 goes in there 2 times, and I'm left with 2 times 2, or 4, minus 4. Equal sign. There's no need to put this 10 over 1 because I'm multiplying by an integer. My goodness. I am hopping around on this problem, and that gives me 20. Now solve the new equation. I'm going to add 4 to both sides. I get 3x gone is equal to 24. Divide by 3, and x is equal to 8. So the solution is 8. All right, one more on this page, and I have 4x plus 5 over 4 is equal to 5x minus 5 over 4. I look at just the denominators. They're both 4s. So I'm going to multiply by a common denominator of 4. And so that means I've got 4 times 4x plus 4 times 5 over 4 equals 4 times 5x minus 4 times 5 over 4. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 products to simplify. For the first one, I get 16x. For the second one, the 4's divide out, and I'm left with 5. Equal sign. 4 times 5x is 20x, minus 4's divide out, and I have 5. I have variables on both sides. It's your choice which one you want to get rid of. If you want to get rid of the small one, you'll subtract 16x from both sides. You could have done it the other way. 5 is equal to 4x minus 5. Because my variable is on the right, this is got to be isolated. I have to get rid of the minus 5. So add 5, and I get 10 is equal to 4x. Remember, my goal was variables one side, constants on the other. Divide by 4. 4 doesn't go into 10 evenly, but it does reduce. 2 goes into the top 5 times. 2 goes into the bottom 2 times, and that's x. So it would be 5 over 2, and you would have to use the little fraction tool to enter that. Let's look at a few more. Now, this next problem, there's a couple of different things I could do with it. I have 6 parentheses x minus 3 all over 2 is equal to 3 times x plus 7 close parentheses over 11. Now, this is an equation with fractions, very obviously, but this is particularly a proportion because it is a single fraction equal to a single fraction. That's what a proportion is. In letters, it's a over b equals c over d. Fraction equals fraction. And when that's true, when you have a proportion, the cross products are equal. So when you have a proportion, but only when you have a proportion, you can take a shortcut. So I want to show you the shortcut. The shortcut says that this cross product is equal to this cross product. So here's what I mean. Doesn't matter which one you do first. 2 times 3 times x plus 7 is equal to the other cross product, 11 times 6 times x minus 3. If it is a proportion, the cross products are equal to each other. This means 6 times x plus 7 equals 66 times x minus 3. This is nice because I didn't have to worry about the LCD. By doing the cross products, I no longer have fractions. Let's use the distributive property on the left for 6x plus 42 is equal to, on the right, 66x minus, let's see if I can multiply that, 18, carry the 1. I hope it's 198. I have variables on both sides. I'm going to subtract 6x from both sides. I have 42 is equal to 60x minus 198. I'm going to add 198 to both sides to get my variable by itself. That's gone. I have 60x is equal to, that's 10, carry the 1, 14, 240. Well, this is working out pretty nice. Divide by 60. 4 is equal to x. Remember, you can do the shortcut of cross products only when you're looking at a proportion. So I would choose A, and I would have typed in a 4. All right, our last problem, our last example. I have x plus 4/8 is equal to 3/4 x. I see a fraction with a denominator of 8 and one with a denominator of 4. The LCD is 8. This is not a proportion. So I'm going to multiply 8 times every term. 8 times x plus 8 times 4/8 is equal to 8 times 3/4 x. That gives me 8x plus, the 8's divide out, and I have just 4, equal sign. 4 goes into itself once, 4 goes into 8 2 times. I have 2 times 3 times x, or 6x. All right, I have variables on both sides. Now, I have been getting rid of the smaller one, but if I do that in this problem, I will subtract 6x, I'll end up with some x's, a plus 4, an equal sign, and a 0. I will have gotten my variables and my constants on the same side, and I don't really want that. So if I instead choose to subtract 8x, I end up with 4 is equal to, this will give me negative 2x. And see, I have variables on one side, constants on the other. So I think that was an efficient choice. Divide by negative 2, and negative 2 is x. All right, hope that helped working with equations with fractions.